October 29, 2024, Durango Dank here, aka Giovanni, aka being adopted. You can call yourself whatever you want to be called, and even if you're not adopted, you're able to call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, as long as one person knows. In the digital world, that would be Google. We understand where we are in this President 2024, and the indexing has been going on for quite some time, but since the 2016 elections and all the identifiers and all their voices being indexed and pattern matched to common sense. And so that would be the first beta model. And so now you have to see what the second election, 2020, and all the things that happened, and all the words that came out of all the identifier mouths that are responsible for our elections, are responsible for the safety of the citizens first and not party. And now billions of dollars are now turned into our elections by the media that gets the majority of that money to keep us all twisted. But it's our responsibility to not be twisted. And therefore, when we get to a point where we don't know how to untwist ourselves by linguistic twisters that are using keywords and other information. Hello? Are you listening? When you understand that the 2024 elections is the final 8 out of the year, and when you understand social standings and rankings and all this information that's either used for us or against us or not at all, and how our information is now indexed by our voices wherever we go, which is the new digital DNA. Our mayor, Mike Johnston, not to get off point, but it is in regards to our government, has been using other people's content and trying to circumvent new conversations that we needed to get done. And I thought Michael Hancock would have done it, but he was too smart. And so Mike Johnston did it. And so what I mean by bringing AI to Denver and getting to people around the world to discuss, and I guarantee you people, all the people that they've shown are flunkies from other situations that they're all using to try to circumvent and take over the conversations that other people, because they're not part of that conversation, are now migrating into their conversations. And that's beautiful. And so that's where we are. When you think about the media voices being indexed, then we need 3 elections. You have to get it to 3, folks. That's the magic number, 3. Because then you can take all the work that you analyzed and see if they do the same content and or use the same word salad, whatever it is. And so 2024, a lot of people came out of the closet. Now we know CNN's owned by Warner Brothers, so Warner Brothers got all their people. This is where it's going to be big, folks. This is where their PR people and their handlers didn't get the memo. because they've all been bullshitting so many people for so long that they can't do this in the metaverse, because it is all about equity and what you build. What you say is what you are. You can't just go and read someone's content and go, oh, I'm going to go do this and start writing. You can, but you better tell them who your source is. Who's your teacher? Mine's Google. That's the only thing I can tell you. And there's a new way to communicate underground without letting everybody know what's going on, just by looking at algorithms, and you can tell what conversations are going on. But the media, all their voices, CNN, their Fox News, what they're, Fox News puts down a lot of news agencies, but they sure use a lot of their content in polls and everything that don't make sense. See, none of this makes sense. And so when you think about our adversaries, not our allies, our adversaries, who are using common sense, they're social philosophers or social psychiatrists are saying, hey, just watch what they're doing and don't do it. Whatever they tell you, we're just going to do the opposite. You don't think they know this? Unless these people are part of that. So this is where Gen AI is going to save us all from ourselves. But it's going to start with the media. And they don't get replaced until there's someone that's writing content that have been verified and their sources are verified, and it takes more than just someone whipping out a life-damaging accusations. And so you have to really protect all the people, and that's what I've been trying to bring. Just my life alone is enough to tell people what happened and why I'm here. And I wrote a book, Nelson versus the United States of America, System in Denial, a book for the world for the 21st century. See, I pointed out what field agents can do. And then that was 98. And here we are in 2024, and all those departments have been used to, just like what Hitler did to all the departments in Germany, and they just took them over. And so when you hear the way these people are talking, this is the end of the line in the digital world. We cannot move any closer. We've wasted already 12 years. And now we're back to Donald Trump. And now we see things to where we would have known if we had Donald Trump, and they would have continued all this Russia stuff. And we're at a point where we don't know. We're at a point to where the man they're saying is bad was almost assassinated, to try to make everybody scared that, oh shit. So these are the things that supervised Gen AI already knows. And the right algorithms, you can see what certain people are talking about in the domain. If they're talking by their cell phones, I don't care who they are. Unless they're secured phones, which I would think they are all on. But even then, it's still being indexed through somewhere. And so the only way you find that content and how that is derived is you would come up with an algorithm, and then you would use the images to see who is coming up in that search, who are the faces, because they love to put their faces over everything. And so now what we can do is pattern match a person's voice, his face, its location, its cell phone tower ping, crosstalk indexing everybody that was in the room if you claim you were the last one in the room. And see, right now, the young millennials and the young Gen Zs is the generation they need to cancel. They're too smart for their own good. The Gen A, the Generation Alpha, has already been manipulated. That's the new 18-year-olds that you see now, I think. Or the coming 18-year-olds that you can't wipe out one. I mean, look how many people, 500,000 I hear. 18 to 38-year-olds in the Army, dead. Russia. Now, I don't know, you see, when you look at everything, you have different conflicting stories. See, we can't have that. You got to be precise. You got to look at the date. Some might be talking about a certain date. And so these are the Dewey Decibel kind of indexing one needs to learn in order to put their content ahead of everybody else's. And with that said, we have come to a point in time where identifiers of these news sources, the owners, like Warner Brothers owns CNN, and you look at the people like Taylor Swift's parents didn't think she should have came out and supported Kamala Harris. So when these artists come out and support non-common sense, it hurts their careers. They don't know that yet, but it's coming. These are new indexing policies that are not, I don't want to call them policies. I would just say algorithmic changes for the betterment of whatever lives we're all trying to live together on this world of coexisting. I used to see these bumpers stickers saying coexist. I never knew what it really meant, but I get it now. And we all got to coexist, man. Why do we got to kill each other's citizens and do it? Because that's the way it is. When you got Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, hornswoggling with Kamala Harris, folks, man, our adversaries see that and they're like, what the? Doesn't make sense. So they got to call in their psychiatrist and say, look, can you analyze this stuff here? And then they go, oh man, yeah. And then use these algorithms. Oh man. So what's their credit scores and rankings? Oh man. And that's where we are, and that's where Russia and the New World Order and the United States ain't in it. And the next thing they're going to do is go to the United Nations and take our weapons away from us. And then just treat us like the service city and counties and governments that we are, that do what we're told in the world, that our children have sacrificed their freedom and their ability to really use the equity that they can start at early age to be now just sheeple, a controlled flock of humans that are worried about robots when they've already been taken over themselves.